Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco, Dish Out on the Movies. Today we are starting to review a new show. The 3 episodes have already elapsed and we have watched all 3. So, the show is called Fear Factor House of Fear. And it's hosted by Johnny Knoxville. There are 14 people. And they're staying in this house, and it's going to last for 10 weeks. And the prize is $200,000.
Wow. So I would like to begin because, this was kind of like my idea. I just thought that Safi could, she could do something on the channel too. So I thought that she could review this. I don't know. But, so this show, I thought right off the bat, this is not the same show as it used to be. It has a very distinct look to it that reminds me of the Biggest Loser reboot in 2020. I do think it's better than that. I don't think it's necessarily terrible, but it's definitely a hilarious show in certain unintentional ways. And there's many reasons for this. I think that this show, there's a lot of problems with it, but it's entertaining. It's kind of like junk food. It's a junk food show, which is really sad because the old show, I think that people thought of it as junk, but in hindsight, like looking back, it was actually really, really good. It was a really, pretty incredible show. And I think that they did a much better job when they did the old show. I think that this new show, I'm calling it Soy Factor, the House of Soy. Because just everything about this show is soy. All the candidates, all the contestants, they're all a bunch of soy boys and soy girls. I don't know if that's what you call it, soy girls. What do you think, Safi?
I have no idea. I've never heard of that.
These contestants are of a particular nature of soy. Just the typical soy that you would imagine. Another thing that I have a problem with is the fact that it feels like they're afraid of the stunts and the backlash that they might receive. So they're adding in all this extra padding with this stupid house stuff where you have people talking game and creating alliances and, shaking hands and making promises and having cliques. I don't know what else they do behind off of the cameras, but it's probably some weird shit. Playing tiddlywinks and shit. But they're adding all this extra padding and filler and fluff. And I think it's because they're scared. They're scared of the actual stunts are barely part of the episodes. It's like a chunk of the episodes, but the rest of it is just fluff and filler with this stupid house drama. And again, I think that they're afraid of the backlash because there was a competition in the first episode that they posted on YouTube, and all it was just people in tanks getting bugs and animals dropped on them. They didn't eat the animals or anything. It's just the animals that they have to be in a tank with these animals. And you had all these fucking losers in the comments saying that this is animal abuse. This is animal abuse. And so I think that that's why this new show is going to fail, unfortunately, because they're too scared. They're too scared to do the old show. They're too scared because it's 2026. That's something they say a lot. Whenever they want to excuse something being really bad and being really shitty, they always say something like, we're making this for the modern audience. Or they say something like, it's 2026. And it's like, oh, well, wow, that's just another reminder that movies and TV shows suck now and that you need to go back to how they were in the 2000s and before then. thank you for that reminder. Because, like, honestly, one of the I'm going to continue ranting about the show, but, like, Safi will have some stuff to say, too, in a bit. But, another issue, and I don't even care if this sounds superficial or sexist. I don't even give a fuck. But, these are all, like, a bunch of ugly people. Like, we want to see the whole...
So.
Well, kinda. Like, the whole point of Fear Factor back in the day was that you see these pretty people doing gross things.
I think some of the people are pretty people, I hate to tell you.
There's not really one that's above a 7, So,
oh,
like,
God!
But, like, in the old... Sorry, I'm just being honest. I don't care. That's what this channel's about. If you can't handle it, go chug a... Go eat spam. Go eat some old spam. But, like, no, seriously, it's not coming from a personal place, because you can find plenty of movies where you can see pretty people and TV shows, but it's coming from a place of, that's what the old show was. You saw these pretty people, you saw these models, and these people who just look like, ooh, they look like, really pretty people. They wore, like, these bodysuits all the time, and these pretty clothes, and it was cool, and it was stylish, and you get to see these pretty people doing gross things like eating worms and doing gross things. That was part of the appeal of the show. And I'm not saying that normal-looking people shouldn't be allowed to compete, but I just think, again, all this is just a reminder of how good the old show was, and how this show is never going to measure up to that unless they go full on, unapologetically how they would if it was the 2000s. I don't care if it's 2026. Go back to the old ways. And, I want Fear Factor the old way. Get it, Safi?
I didn't watch that many episodes of it, but I do remember it was quite different.
No, I'm referencing someone else. I've been cooking a lot recently, and someone said something really weird where they said, I want you to cook pasta the old way. Use the old way. And I'm like, what does that mean? But, like, for this show, I want Fear Factor to go back to the old ways. With some new additions, like, some of the contestants I like, but most of them are just awful. Like, they're so unlikable, one-dimensional, just soy up the you-know-what, and it's like, come on. Like, if I'm watching a show, I want to watch a show where I want to see at least one of the people win, but I couldn't care less if any of these people won or lost or anything, really. But what do you have to say, Safi? That was my opening monologue, and now it's Saturday Night Live.
Okay, well, I wanted to say how they're structured, because
oh, God.
Me being not totally familiar with the old show, it just seemed like when they just brought people on, like, let's say they were doing some kind of ocean challenge, they just brought people up on the dock, and then when they left, you would see them leave. And
it's like they teleported.
Goodbye. Yeah.
They teleported there.
But here, like Marco said, there's 14 people. They all live in the house, men and women. And they have each episode is structured like this. They have the name of the show, or the name of the episode. So the first episode, for example, is called Sealed Fates. And that is an indicator of the challenge. And we can talk about that in a minute. But then when they do all that, the people who win the challenge, they get to pick 4 people to undergo the challenge that will eliminate somebody. And that is called the end game. And I didn't get the names of all of them. Like the very first one, actually Marco talked about, that was on YouTube. And they were all in like phone booths, the 4 people who were picked. And then bugs, rats, snakes, lizards, and live birds, were dropped in on them. And they had to and then like eggs or some kind of thing where they had to open it and they had to find a code or something, and then they would press every time they would find one, they'd have to press it, and the first one to get the 3 codes can escape out of that booth. Okay, so that's and so anyway, the last person is the one to be eliminated. So the second one, so every episode is like this. They have the main thing, and then they have the end game. Now, another little extra thing that they do is the people who win, let's say in the first episode, they won the Sealed Fates. They get to, sometime before the end game, they get to go into this room in the house that's locked. And they have all these TV screens. And then they start playing what the end game is going to be like. And so it's up to them to tell the rest of the people in the house what they're going to be facing. And so how much information to give them, and, it's up to them. And so that's how it's structured. So each episode is structured just like that. So I don't want to say anything else. I thought there was a mixture of people. I thought a lot of them, well, I don't know, maybe a third of them were very empty. They were very superficial. There's a few people who are, and another thing too about nowadays, this is because of social media, everybody reveals too much of themselves. And it's really better when they're in a situation like this because you have people picking you or not to be in this last group and you can get eliminated. So if you reveal too much about yourself and your fears, you're letting people know how you're going to get eliminated or how they can eliminate you. So some of these people run their mouth too much. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
Some of them are very superficial, like Marco said. Some of them are pretty people. And then there's mothers. There's a bunch of mothers in it, which, now that's different.
We'll get to that.
I'm just trying to think of any other reality show I've ever watched.
Again,
that's a different thing.
This is the modern agenda, which is we need to show people who, quote unquote, haven't been in these types of things before, so that those people at home watching feel represented. And it's just fucking retarded. Representation is retarded. I don't care that there's a white person on screen. I don't care if it would be an all-black contestant show. I don't care. I just want to watch a good show. As long as they're pretty people, most of them, that's what I really care about at the end of the day. And, these contestants, most of them are terrible. We'll get into them because there are some really despicable characters here. The first episode, they had this one girl, and I guess you could say she's pretty.
Is that like a cheerleader?
No, she was a bitch. No, the other one, the one she spent the first. So. No, there was one who spent the first episode who was like, I'm gonna flirt with this one guy so that he likes me and so that he doesn't pick me for the end game. I'm going to flirt with him and use him so that we can be on an alliance together. Like, see, all this type
that was dumb. I didn't like that at all.
All that type of alliance shit, I despise. I hate
it.
It's nothing that should be in Fear Factor. It's stupid. It's dumb. I really don't like it at all.
And I don't know. We'll see how it works out in the end. But, I've watched Survivor. That's a huge alliance game. And Big Brother. That's an alliance game. Watch both of those. And I'm thinking, why do they have to make this show into that? And I don't think it's going to work because I've seen how it operates. It's really operated very badly so far.
Yeah, so far, like every episode, there's been this stupid drama, bullying, ugly characters, not ugly physically, but just ugly personalities, really just mean people. And, the girl who she tried to flirt with that guy, again, very superficial. How am I supposed to want to root for her to win the season? Why would I want her to win anything except for a trip home? She can win a trip home by getting eliminated, and I can give a middle finger to the TV. But in the first episode, it started off with a pretty intense challenge, one where they all get in pairs.
Right.
They all climb up, and they're in plastic wrap, and they're vacuum sealed, like, just, I don't know how to describe it, but like in air, like they're just sealed in this plastic, and that was really intense. I thought that was a great challenge to start off the season.
It was.
It's probably the scariest challenge that they've had so far, even though you have the gross challenges that are scary. But, like, that one was a great idea. I thought that, actually, I was kind of surprised by it. And, overall, I will say, too, it is an entertaining show. Like, I referenced The Biggest Loser reboot, but this show runs circles around The Biggest Loser reboot. Like, the host of this show, Johnny Knoxville, he's actually a pretty good host, I think.
And I thought he was going to be a superficial jerk.
Yeah.
But he's actually a kind person.
He's really likable.
He's a very nice person.
Very charismatic. I'm not a huge Jackass fan, but, he was actually a really good choice. And I think that my biggest criticism, and this is just with the show in general, is that you can see how fake everything is. Like, it doesn't really feel like, as nice as he is, it doesn't really feel like he has a connection with any of these people. And the reason why that's a problem for me is because in the old show, Joe Rogan would always be like that, where he would be really, really personal and intimate with all the contestants. Like, there was one episode where he picked up a cockroach and he ate one. Ew. Even though he's the host, he didn't have to do that at all, but he did it just to show the contestants that he would do something like that too. And he would do things like that. He was really, really good. I would say too, Joe Rogan's probably the best reality show host that's ever been. He in that Fear Factor show, he did the best job out of any reality show I've ever seen. And I think that Johnny Knoxville needs to be a little bit closer to the contestants, because you can kind of feel this, like, air of, like, separation of, like, that's the higher talent, and then those are the contestants that are below him.
He tries to be encouraging.
Yeah, he is encouraging.
And I think the one thing, too, in the first episode, the person who lost dropped out. And I think he was very disappointed. And he tried very hard to encourage the person not to do that, because I think they really don't like that. Yeah. Because they've probably all competed to be on the show.
Fear Factor.
And then when you drop out, it's, I don't know.
See, in the old show, another issue that I've had is that a lot of the contestants act like they don't have to do anything.
And we've seen that, too.
They haven't had to do any of the challenges. They act like it's, like, optional. And it's like, why are you on Fear Factor? But, like, in the old show, everyone had to do everything.
Yeah, that's the difference. And I remember that.
You would have to quit. If you didn't want to do something, you'd have to quit. I watched this one where there was just 4 people left, and they each had to eat 2 bull testicles.
Ugh.
And these 2 girls quit. They both quit, and they walked right off the show. And so that's what happened. But in this new show, it's like, well, you have all the... And that's why I'm calling them soy peoples, because they act like why should I have to do that? Like, let's talk about the first episode. You had this guy named Zach, and he is like a character out of the King of the Hill.
He actually reminds me of somebody I know.
Oh, God.
Which is really... But he even looks like him.
Oh, no.
It really bothers me
to
watch him.
Who's that?
No, I don't want to say.
Well, I can't think of who it would be.
I know you've met him, but it was when you were a lot younger.
Oh.
We stayed at their house. So anyway...
I can't think of who that would be.
he reminds me of him. He has like, this guy has a mustache.
Yeah.
And he's very, but he's very nice and affable.
He has a mullet.
That's the diff. Well, he does. This guy never had that. But anyway, this guy in the game, he's a jackass, and I mean, I understand he doesn't give an fuck about the alliances.
He's the
and
villain.
Making friends, but he's still, he's a meanie.
He's the villain of the season.
He doesn't have to be unkind.
Yeah, he's very mean. He's very rude, and like, I admire the fact, because I can't stand how fake all these people are, and they're doing all these alliances and shit.
God.
But at the same time, he is purposefully mean, purposefully rude, and he doesn't have to be.
And he makes threats. We'll talk about that later, because that doesn't happen, I think, until the last.
We'll talk about that. No, it was the second episode.
Oh. Okay.
So, he targets the girls in the house, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And, you know, they had this whole cringeworthy thing in the first episode where, like, they were playing the victim card because of their gender. They were using the gender card and saying, like, you know, you can't pick us for the end game. We're women, and, you know, you're targeting women. And, you know,
why would they do that? They're there to compete.
Yeah, like, you're supposed to
get
compete
that.
in these challenges. Like, just because you're a woman doesn't mean that you don't have to do a challenge. And so he picked the worst woman on the show, which was this cheerleader girl, which, if this was like a Netflix show, she would have won the whole competition, because, you know, that's how they would have scripted it. But she was like, oh, everyone thinks I'm like this pretty little NFL cheerleader. And it's like, no one thinks that. You know, just you know, relax. You know, I don't think that at all. You're not it. Sorry, but hate to break it to you, but she's like, everyone thinks I'm a pretty cheerleader, but there's the side of me. There's something inside of me, and maybe I could be Fear Factor. I don't know. Like, she acted like, oh, well, maybe she could do a lot more than you think.
Well, maybe somebody else could. But what did she do? What did I say about some of these people? Several of them. They reveal way too much about themselves.
Yeah, she
did. And so they become, no matter if she was a girl or not, she became a target.
She revealed
a real big target.
She revealed her fear, and Zach knew that. He knew her fear, and so he just put her in that challenge because of that. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. There was nothing sexist about that.
She gave herself away.
He was being very mean to her, but she honestly, she was a bitch. She totally deserved it.
I don't know.
Then in the end game, she made it personal. She targeted his daughter and said, your daughter's going to grow up and watch the show and see how you treat women. That was fucking retarded.
She did say that.
And then she said that he was targeting her because she wouldn't look at him twice on the street. And it's like,
she did say that.
Again, she made that personal. He did not make it personal.
No, she shouldn't
and
have done
so
that. That's another thing.
That bitch deserved it. She deserved to go right home.
Well,
and
I wouldn't call her that.
She quit, too.
But she quit.
She couldn't handle it. And, you know, it's just like, okay, bye-bye, cheerleader. You know, like...
Okay, but what happened is, she just said she just hates snakes, and she actually had this story where when she was a kid, I think it was her birthday, and she wanted this snake. And I have no idea what it was, but I don't know if they painted it or what, because I have no idea what kind of snake it would be. She's from West Virginia, so she said that they gave her a pink snake, which I have no idea what that is, and it bit her, and so she has like PTSD. There's a couple of them there.
Why are you on Fear Factor then?
That's right. That's what I want to know. But the thing is, there's a couple of people on here that they have legitimate PTSD issues. And this is kind of this girl knew what she was in for.
Welcome to Fear Factor.
The other one we'll talk about because this it's in the next challenge. But
well, so the cheerleader quits, and this was the most hilarious part. On her way out, she said, "I should never have even had to have been put in that position."
which
And
is
again,
ridiculous.
why are you on Fear Factor if you can't be bothered to be put in a challenge? Like, are you kidding me? Like, that is so entitled. It's so, first world problems. # first world problems. I signed up to be on a reality show about, fears and all that kind of stuff, but I can't do any challenges. I shouldn't be put in that position because I'm a woman.
And the Johnny Knoxville, he does emphasize quite frequently, he says, you're here to face your fears.
Yeah.
And see if you can get through them, because the prize is $200,000. And that's a lot of money. So the thing is, I'll just say, they did this end game. They're in the booths, and all these snakes, were dropped in on her. But they were dropped on everybody. And the two boys, they got out real fast. They got the codes. And then this girl said, I can't do it. I just can't do it. And so the other girl, so she dropped out. So the other girl, who was the long-haired girl, who was going to partner up with one of the boys, it didn't work out. She just got out. She didn't have to worry about being eliminated because that other girl dropped out. So
that was so hilarious.
So that was good for her, So I guess, so anyway, her name is Kristen, and she went home. So why don't we talk about episode 2?
Kristen.
The title of it is called Wrecking Ball. It involved, and that's the name of the challenge, and it involves height and fire. And again, we have teams of 2. And what they had to do was they were attached to this.
And what ended up happening here, I thought this was the weakest challenge so far. It's fun to watch, but like in terms of it being a challenge, it felt more like something you'd see on a different kind of show. I think because of the fire aspect and everything, but I don't know. It was good. I give it like a B as a challenge, but like Zach failed this one right off the bat, and so in the episode, all of the women were targeting him, and it basically became the entire house versus Zach.
Nobody likes him because he's such a jackass.
Yeah, like he could put a little bit of effort into just being nice, but at the same time, he knows that all this alliance stuff is bullshit, and that at the end of the season, there's only going to be one person who wins.
That's right.
There's not going to be 4 people who win. No. So, I think that he just knows that, but he is making a big mistake the way that he's acting. But, that's his problem. I'm not his mom. So.
But anyway, they had to swing on this wrecking ball. They had these 2 people, the team of 2, attached them. They were attached somehow, strapped to the wrecking ball. Then when the time clicks and they start, they have to swing into this board with fire roaring up, and they crash through it. And then they have to swing hard enough and far enough till they get to this yellow net. It's like a climbing net, and then they have to grab it, detach themselves from the wrecking ball, and climb up, and there's 2 bells, and they have to pull the strap and ring them. They're not that. Well, I guess it is pretty high up. Oh, wait, they had to build a ladder, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to also build a ladder. And then they had to
ring a bell.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot that. But anyway, one of the teams had this one woman, and she was actually, as a child, her house caught on fire. And she remembers, she was a kid, and she remembers every bit of it. So she does have like this PTSD thing about flames and fire, which in a way she was facing her fear to do this challenge.
That was nice.
Yeah, it was, and she did. She didn't. They didn't make it. They didn't grab onto the yellow net enough to stay, and so they sank down, and then they just lower them down to the ground. But she still was, no matter if they didn't win that part of it, but she still was proud of herself to have gotten through it without having a nervous breakdown. But I mean, that was actually a really, I mean, I could understand it, a very understandable fear, because she had been a child. She remembered the smell, the looks, the feel of everything of that fire. She talked about it. It was actually very interesting.
Now, there were 2 other contestants that built like a camaraderie this episode, and that was, there's this kind of, at first I thought he was good. His name is Ethan, and he's like a pretty boy jock with this ugly ass, Gen Z haircut. And he made friends with this older woman who's like a mother of 4 or something, and he helped her win. She acted like he was like God's gift to the universe because of that, and she's really cringeworthy because she's like, I'm the mom of the house.
Which is bull, because there's several moms.
I'm the mom of everyone here. And what's really hilarious is that sorry, you can tell Ethan is just using her so that she'll do his dishes for him. Because
and he said that, though, didn't he?
He even said that. And because she is doing his dishes for him like she's his mom.
This is his house.
Again.
S-H-I-T that I don't agree with.
The house
like
stuff.
Big Brother.
Who cares? I don't want to see that unless there's something good. And I will talk about that now. Let's just take a little side tour. So we just talked about 2 more unpleasant contestants. And we'll talk about them more in the 3rd episode. I think if you're going to do a House of Fear, then you should actually embrace that title and create the house, or craft the house into a real House of Fear. You could make it Halloween themed, and you could design this house into like a haunted house. You could have secret passageways. You could have like scavenger hunts. I came up with a couple ideas. You could have a mummy challenge where you're put into a sarcophagus, you're wrapped completely in mummy bandaging, and then you get beetles poured all over you, and you have to lie there for 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. That would be scary. And it's on theme. And then you could do a trick-or-treat challenge. You could have the contestants line up, and they're the ones who have to get candy from the kids who are coming to the door. And when they open the door, they hand something gross, like a gross food, to the contestant. And then the contestant has to go off and eat that. And they have to keep rotating in this line until one contestant gets like a key or something, or some sort of an item so that they can win whatever challenge. But that would be the challenge, would be like, you're trick-or-treating, these kids are all giving you these gross foods in line. That would be a lot of fun. I mean, see how easy that would be, Safi?
Yep.
Like, to just come up with these, like, Halloween-themed challenges. Like, what if you had to dig someone else's grave? What if you had to dig a contestant's grave and they had to dig your grave and you have to go lay in it, whatever? You could do so many things. You could do like a scavenger hunt inside the house. You could do like something Saw themed. Like, you want to play a game? Like, you could do any type of thing. You could have Johnny inside the house with the contestants doing these challenges. He could wear some kind of like a Halloween costume. It could be so fun. They could do that. I don't understand. If you're going to include this House of Fear, why are you making this stupid Big Brother ripoff or like Survivor? Nobody wanted that. Use your creativity, and if you're not going to do a Halloween theme, just do something with the house itself and do that. What do you think about that, Safi?
I think it sounds really good.
I know.
But the house they live in, it's actually very very California. I mean, it's inset into the cliff, and they have all these windows, and then the ocean is down below, and it's very modern. And but the thing I do love this, is they have beautiful. They've shown like if it's been foggy, or the sunsets, or the sunrise. All these beautiful screenshots of the sky and the house. But there's nothing fearful about the house. The only thing is what I said when the winners of this first challenge, let's say, this wrecking ball, the people who won, they get to go into a room, and it's only do they play it? Do they do a horn or something, or they turn on a light and they can see that light on in the room, and then they can
it's
go in.
Just a TV, and they go in the room, and
and it's just the people who won the challenge.
They get to see an AI generated video of the end game or something, or I don't know if it's AI generated, but it looks like it.
And the end game for this episode was called The Unhappy Hour, and I think you might get a clue as to what that might contain. But there were 2 wheels to spin, and each loser of the 4 people that were picked, one goes up at a time, and they have to spin a liquid, and then the other wheel is within that bigger one, is a solid. Okay, so I'll just give you an example of the things that are on the wheel. This is the solids: pig ears, cow stomach, gizzards, oh God, is that gross, and fermented beans. And then they have pig heart, anything else that's different? Okay, and then the liquids are fermented egg juice. I mean, you get with this, God, pig blood, sour milk, cat food gravy, which I have no idea what that's supposed to be, vomit fruit, and that's it. That's different.
All right, so in this challenge, Zach competes, and before the challenge, he was making a big deal to everyone in the house how he had a weak gag reflex and he wouldn't be able to handle it. He made such a big scene that he went to his room and he packed his bags. He put on this big show.
He was bullshitting everybody.
It was so funny.
One of the contestants, I believe, is a retired detective from New York, from what did he say? Not the Bronx. Was it from the Bronx or Brooklyn? And he's very low key, but he's suspicious. I mean, he doesn't do this revealing his fears like the other ones. He doesn't shoot his mouth off. He's very cop-like in that way, and it's actually a good thing.
And he said that Zach was BSing.
Yeah, he knew that he was bullshitting.
And so I thought that was interesting, because that really added to the episode, I think.
And he didn't say, and when they figured out he was bullshitting, he didn't say anything either. Like, I knew it all the time.
I was glad.
I'm a cop.
And
he
I was glad.
Himself.
I was glad he didn't tell any of the other contestants. He seems like one of the only good contestants on the show.
Yeah.
And that's pretty surprising, because if a cop is one of the only good contestants, then you know that there's something wrong with the show. I mean,
he's very nice, but he doesn't. He's older, too, and he looks. And they call him a mystery too. They realize that there's a woman there, and she's like a neurobiologist or something. You know, she has a PhD apparently. You know, all this, but she has not revealed herself either. So they call them mystery people. They're already dubbed something.
You should just call him.
And they don't care. They don't care.
Call him Mr. X-Files. So, anyways, in the final challenge, you got to drink these gross shakes, and Zach could not even make it through the first round. And in fact, before we get to that, one of the contestants, again, was complaining about potentially having to do the challenge. I don't know his name. He's the big black guy who's also gay. And that's just who he is. I'm not making fun of him. That's that. that is who he is. I just don't know his name. I can't remember it.
I don't know his name.
But he is probably the second worst contestant on the whole show. He's a giant crybaby bitch. And he's like, no, please, I don't want to do this challenge. And again, why are you on Fear Factor if you can't handle at least trying a challenge? Like, it's so pathetic. And I'm saying that because I know that I wouldn't sign up for the show, but if you sign up for Fear Factor, you should be ready to eat gross stuff.
Yeah.
That's not something controversial. That's not something mean to say. That's just the truth. Like, why are you on Fear Factor? So he did not want to go. He acted so feminine about it. It was so cringeworthy.
And you can't even say that because there were two other women on there, and they.
Well, he acted more feminine than them. So
yeah,
in that moment, so that's pretty bad.
And they did fine.
They got up there and they did fine. But then came the second round, and one of the guys, he got taken out because he won the first round, and he went up there and he got to give one of the contestants a smaller cup. And this is the point where Zach went from being unlikable to being despicable. He said he's supposed to be asking this guy to give him some help, and he said, if you don't give me this advantage, I'm going to turn into a tornado at the house. I'm just going to destroy the house like a tornado or something like that. So he threatened. It kind of was like domestic violence type of threat or something. I don't know. I really didn't understand what he was talking about. He's like, I'm going to tear up the house like a tornado. Like, why would you say that?
And Johnny Knoxville he was concerned.
Yeah.
He did not like that at all.
Yeah.
And I know that I've watched enough reality shows in the past. The main host, they very rarely get angry at the contestants.
Yeah.
It has to be, and when they do, it has to be pretty serious. And he said, I think Johnny Knoxville said, "Are you threatening him? Are you making a threat?"
Yeah.
So I mean,
and he was.
Yeah, he was.
Why was he doing that?
And I think he thought it was funny.
Yeah.
And nobody thought it was funny. Nobody. And Johnny Knoxville, that's what I'm saying. They very rarely get mad, from what I've seen. But when they do, boy.
Say what you will about, like, oh, you don't like elements of the old show, but, like, I don't think there was ever someone on the old show that was as unlikable as these people are on this modern show. And I think that's something else that's really strange, like, that's just another part about it, is, like, I want likable contestants for the most part. Like, I guess one Zach is okay, but all of them are pretty unlikable for the most part. And so in the last round, he surprises everyone. He gets his shake and he just chugs it down in like 5 seconds, which is just hilarious. Like, everyone was so shocked and so scared. And then the one person that they thought could just easily beat it, they gave her the smaller cup.
No, they gave it to the neurobiologist.
Oh, okay, never mind. Well, the woman that they thought would just easily win, she lost and she got sent home. And to be honest, she was kind of like a weaker contestant, like she's one of the ones that you could imagine she'd go home pretty fast.
She had a teenage son, and she wanted to prove to him that she wasn't afraid to do these things.
She wasn't as unlikable as other contestants.
No, she was actually, everybody really liked her.
She
was
was
fine.
fine.
She was very popular.
She was fine. I approve of her being on the show.
She tried. She just couldn't drink it down fast enough. Her last challenge, yeah. The thing that she had to drink, because remember, this is 2-part. She had to drink and they put everything in a blender and blend it up. I don't think, and I wondered about that too. Did they have a different blender for every person? So when they do have 30 blenders
I don't think
there?
So. No.
Well, she had to drink blended vomit fruit and pig heart in a regular cup.
Why don't you
not
go
a little one?
Why don't you go do the show, Safi, so that you can prove to me that you'll do scary things?
I don't think I could do this. So anyway, I know on Survivor they have this challenge, and you see this real, and I've seen it too. I've been to a foreign country where they ate certain things that you might not eat, but and there's all kinds of YouTube videos of people from different countries who
Believe it or not,
weird stuff.
Believe it or not, people complain about that too because they're saying
why?
Because they're saying
it's
that
real.
Because they're saying that it's racist that you're saying
no, it's not.
that's gross.
It's cultural.
They're
you don't
saying
like it. It's not. It isn't something that we do.
Like there was a comedian, I can't remember which one it was.
They can go fuck themselves.
He had a show. It might have been an unlikable one, like the fat guy, Steve Corden. But one of them had like a show where you have to eat gross foods, and a bunch of people complained that like that's racist because these foods would be really liked by people in foreign countries, and it's like, well, that doesn't have anything to do with the show.
No, it doesn't.
That doesn't have any bearing on America, on United States citizens. If people like to eat vomit and brains in other countries. Sorry, that's not normal where I live, so that's going to be treated as gross. And if you call that racist, then I'm just going to say, fuck you.
Yeah, it was stupid.
So Zach's final thing of the episode was on the way back to the house. He's like, get ready because I'm going to tear up the house like a tornado. And everyone's like, oh God, get me out of here. Remember that? I'm a celebrity! Get me out of here!
Yeah.
Remember that shitty show?
Yeah.
That show sucked.
Okay, we got to go to episode 3.
Finally.
I have to check the chicken.
I did like, though, the fact that Zach played them all. Like, he just... Because everyone was so against him. And it would have just been too perfect for him to go home that early. You know?
Yeah, I know.
Right off the bat.
It's almost like, having a mystery.
Yeah.
And somebody comes up with, oh, okay, it was this person because of this. And they fell for all the red herrings, and it's not the answer.
And they were genuinely surprised that he would lie. Like, they were genuinely surprised that, like, on a reality show, someone would lie on a competition show. Like, it's like, again, I don't know what these people are thinking.
I don't either, because with their alliance crap, there's always lying involved in that. So, okay, well, the next episode's called Stuck. So this is where they have the first team challenge. And they actually pick teams, which was, ugh. And this is where
I hate that.
that African-American guy,
yeah,
who's
the gay one,
childish, he got mad because he was next to the last to be picked. So
He was the last person to be picked on his team. And I can agree with him that, that's not a fun position to be in. But when she did that, she wasn't doing that from a place of malice at all. You could tell that. He wasn't being picked last because, like, he was being discriminated against. But this guy, he's in such a victim mentality that he just could not handle that. He acted like such a crybaby bitch. And again, like, I don't understand what these people think on this show. And so, at the end of this challenge, we'll talk about the challenge separately, but at the end of it, one person had to stay down and sacrifice themselves to be up for elimination, potentially. And the team captain, she said, I'll do that just because, you got picked last and I don't want you to feel bad. And he... Instead of, like, being like, oh, wow, I'm so grateful, he threw a tantrum when they got back to the house. And again, he just acts so weak, so effeminate, and just so pathetic.
Herself.
Yeah.
And she
got sent home.
Yeah, she got sent home.
So what a piece of shit that guy is. Like, he is definitely the second worst person on the show. so unlikable, so disgusting, so childish. I mean, he's so ungrateful to that woman. I mean, who literally gave up her position on the show.
Yeah, he's still
for him.
there.
Yeah.
Because of her.
And he hasn't had to do anything, basically. Like,
No.
he just stands on the sidelines, like, you know, complaining.
He had to do the wrecking ball challenge.
Yeah, big deal. Everyone had to do that. So
But he hasn't, I don't think he's done anything else. Well, he did this group challenge because everybody had to do that. So, anyway,
I
tell him
hate
what the
that
challenge
guy, though.
is.
I hate that guy.
Okay, well,
so badly.
He's a creep. So anyway,
Yeah, he is.
Go ahead.
The challenge is everyone gets concrete poured on them, and they have these rebars that at the ends of them are in these unique puzzle shapes, like that are cut out, and so you have to wiggle the bars and get them out of the puzzle on each side and get them all out, and then you have to stand up, and one person gets to stay behind while the others get taken up to safety. It's a pretty weak challenge.
But they have 5 minutes because they said the cement takes 5 minutes to harden. They get it all poured around them. They're in like a bathtub. It's like a bathtub. They're lying in the bathtub.
And I like the idea of using cement. So it was just kind of a weak challenge. But yeah, like basically all of it was focused on like that guy crying, and then on the other side there's the fire girl. We'll just call her Fire Girl. She was acting like, oh my god, I can't do this, oh my god.
Yeah,
like, it's so hard.
She looked like she was going to quit.
Yeah, it was
like,
so
what
weird.
Are you doing?
There's 4 other people on your team, and you're acting like you have to run a marathon or something. Like, you know, like...
And she was like near the middle.
Yeah.
So the ones on the end, they have a lot more responsibilities.
They were the ones having to do everything.
They have to do the puzzle thing.
Yeah.
And it's not that difficult in terms of the puzzle. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's just that it's cement, and it's wet, and they have to be able to handle that bar and put it through the little design. You know, it's like a circle and a curly Q. I mean, all different jags and everything, and to get it loose so the bar can be slid down to the other side, which has to be also the same thing. Put through these little patterns of cut patterns, and then it slides off. And that's the only way they work together by all taking turns sliding the bar downward or down to the side. And so she, that's why it was called Team Challenge. She's having a fit.
She's like, oh my god, the concrete, And it's like, wow.
Okay, I can't.
This person votes. This person's eligible to vote, Safi.
Okay, so anyway, the end game thing is called feeding time.
Well, speaking of feeding time, why don't you go check the chicken and I'll continue.
I got to.
I need to get. Why don't you hand me a water too? Because I'm doing all the factoring now, talking about Fear Factor and shit. This is a fun show to review too, so I'm glad that we're reviewing it. Now that she's descended upon the water. Not one of those, the small ones.
Oh, okay.
Safi doesn't know about the water situation. Thank you, Safi. Now I'm going to tear up the room like a tornado. I have to close the door. Okay, anyways, the last challenge I thought was pretty good, and I will not talk about the stuff leading up to that because Safi needs to be here to talk about that. I will say that one of the contestants that I think is pretty good is a guy named Blake. There are 2 gay guys in the house. He's the other gay guy. And he's pretty likable because he's a fan of the show. So he really seems like someone who naturally the fans could root for too, because it's like, oh, cool. It's like you get to be a part of the show, a fan. You know, I think that that's really cool. That kind of thing. And so he's actually really likable. And so let's talk about the challenge. The challenge involves these different, like, big tanks, and you have to crawl through them. They have water in them. You crawl through them, and there's snakes and lizards, and you crawl to the end, and you have to pick up a dead rat by its tail, and you have to crawl to the other side, avoiding the snakes, and you have to put the rat in this little box, and you have to do that 5 times. And again, I thought that's actually a pretty good challenge. That's probably the second best challenge that they've had so far. And first off, you have Blake. He was put in the challenge. Then you have the detective. And then you have the I think his name is Rob. And he was the guy who was he was the other guy put in the drinking challenge. And he seems to be pretty good and pretty athletic, you know, and that's something else that I think that some of the contestants kind of, you know, I don't know if they're going to last that longer, because you have to be athletic to be on the show, or at least semi-athletic, just to get through these challenges. So the last person who was put in the challenge was the mom, the one who says, "I'm the mom of the house." She's kind of unlikable, but at the same time, like, what was worse was that there were these 2 other guys, and they were trying to protect her from getting put on the challenge. And again, it's this stupid thing, like, where, like, I don't know what these people are thinking. Like, this is a competition where it's going to end with one of you winning. Not 4 of you, not 3 of you. It's going to end with one person winning. And so, okay, close the door all the way. And so, good job, Safi. So I was just talking about how there are these 2 guys, and they thought that this mom should not be put in the final challenge for some reason. Like, I guess it's fear factor, but a contestant shouldn't have to be in a challenge. And I already described the challenge and everyone else, but I wanted to discuss with you about, before the challenge, Ethan and this other guy, the only 2, like...
Rob?
These other 2 pretty boy contestants on the show, the only ones, they were trying to bully Blake into not putting her in the challenge. And one of them, Ethan, he got so cringeworthy. He said, "I studied Machiavelli in college. Make people afraid of you. Make people do what you want. I'm like a politician."
And I thought, I'm like a political person, and I listen to politicians all the time. I have never heard them once say, "I studied Machiavelli in college, and that's how I got to be here."
That was so cringeworthy. I gotta say, too, he is not gay. Ethan is not gay as far as I know. That was the gayest thing that anyone has said on the show so far. "I studied Machiavelli in college. Make people fear you. Make people do what you want." Like, he is the definition of a dumb jock, you know? And so it did not work. Blake said, "Screw you. I'm not going to do what you want because you're trying to bully me." And again, like, only one person's going to win the show.
Actually, Blake is gay.
I already said that, Safi.
Oh, okay. Well, he's with that other guy.
I already did that.
Oh, okay. So I just think it's stupid. All of this alliance,
The alliances.
SHIT is stupid.
I hate it.
I've seen it in other shows. Yeah, it's worked. They've even had it. We just reviewed Hell's Kitchen, which that kind of thing doesn't work as well there either. But,
it kind of does, because...
It does, but it doesn't. But anyway, it doesn't work here.
It doesn't work in the sense that you're forming an official alliance, but at the end of that season, one of the girls made friends with almost everyone, and she won the season. The other girl only made friends with one person or 2, and she lost. So that's why it worked in that.
Well, yeah, but and the thing is, everybody's very supportive. I mean,
yeah.
not fake supportive, but genuinely supportive. They wanted that person to win. And if she was down or something, they boosted her up. You can do it. And she worked real hard and she won. So, but this thing, it's fake.
It's
I don't like
pointless,
it. I don't like it at all. That's the only thing I expect them to eat this crap and have bugs and things go on them, but this alliance crap, ugh, I don't want to see it.
Well, so anyways, what ended up happening was the two athletic guys, they won right off the bat. They didn't get eliminated. So it was between Blake and the girl, the mom. The mom of the house.
Who sacrificed herself.
Yeah, for her stupid, disrespectful, ungrateful teammate.
And she had a snake. It actually wrapped itself around her arm.
Yeah, she endured through this challenge.
She did a really good job. She tried her best.
It was pretty insane. It was almost kind of mean-spirited, too. And this is a great example of why not to care about the woke mob. Because that guy, he is representative of the woke mob entirely. And this is exactly what happens. Is they complain about something, you say sorry, or you try to do something to make up to them, they don't care and they still complain. That is the definition of a woke mob.
Well, did you tell them what happened to him? Blake had...
Not him, the other guy.
Yeah, but that Blake, when he was doing the challenge, they had to get these rats. They had to go all the way through the end, get the rat, but they couldn't put.
I already did that.
And it broke.
Yeah, the tail broke.
And they didn't count it.
I didn't like that. I thought that was unfair because the tail broke off. There was nothing he could do about that. He didn't bite the tail off, hopefully.
No.
So
it came off.
It just fell off. I thought that was kind of unfair, to be honest. I thought he should have won even though the tail fell off. But at the same time, I bet there would have been some controversy, but I don't care. That's what I think would have been fair. But he won anyways, and she went home, and I didn't like her, but she
tried very hard.
But that other guy, though, it was so cringeworthy. Because, he hasn't had to do anything, and he's just standing back like the devil or something. He's like the devil in human form in this show. He's just, standing back, watching everyone kill each other, watch everyone get eliminated, while he gets to stand by and not have to do anything. So I really hope he goes home soon. He is the worst one there now. Zach never tore up the house. I don't know why he said
still
that.
Unlikable.
I guess
he's a father too. He has a family.
Unfortunately, yeah. Maybe it was a joke. Maybe he was just doing that because he knew that he was gonna win. But it was still so evil. Honestly, just to make a threat like that, and it doesn't look good for you. Especially because, if you don't win the season and you go home and people know that you're making threats on TV, then it's that's not going to be very well for you in your personal life,
Yeah.
I would never do something like that. I would do something really mean and evil secretly. Like Safi talked about in Big Brother contestants using others' toothbrushes to clean the toilet. I would do something like that. Easily. But I would not make a threat or do something like that. That would be not good.
Well, I think they got in trouble. They're not allowed.
Why?
Because you're not allowed to do stuff like that.
But what if they deserve it?
You might make them sick. They could get sick.
Well, it is fear factor, so...
Well, I know, but I'm in Big Brother, though. That guy got in trouble.
So my favorite contestants are Blake and the detective, I guess. I don't think there's a single female contestant that I like.
Yeah, I like the detective because he's just very he's very low key. But I mean, he's really got it right because in terms of you don't reveal everything about yourself. You are putting a target on your back. Now he's been picked for these challenges, but he doesn't, and he has fears, but he doesn't even reveal that he's afraid. He doesn't say anything. He's very quiet, but you can tell by his face he's a little he might be a little apprehensive, whatever it is. But that's the thing. He's got it right. You don't reveal everything. You're revealing your weaknesses. That's the last thing you want to do. Because for everything, especially in this game,
you don't reveal everything, because if you do, you'll get charged with indecent exposure.
Well, the thing is, the way they've set this game up with this alliance BS and people picking other people to do these challenges, which I don't know if it was like this before.
I don't think so.
And
no.
That's another thing.
I don't know.
You don't want to get picked. I mean, you're there to compete, but if you have the chance, you don't have to do it. If you're an a-hole, or if you reveal everything about yourself like a dum-dum, you're going to get picked to do the challenge. Every time. Like, they don't like that guy. And I don't know. I'm not going to say anything else about it. We don't care for these alliances. They really don't work. And this modern thing about telling everything about yourself, this isn't a game that you do that. The way they have it structured, it's a mistake. So.
Well, anyways, that is our review of Fear Factor, House of Fear, or as I would call it, Soy Factor, House of Soy, episodes 1 through 3. Now, I will ask of the viewers, new and old, not only to check out our Patreon, because we have incredible content over there, the full unedited movie reviews that are an hour apiece, and tons of other bonus content, my short movie, much better than anything that came out last year in terms of the movies, and then, unfortunately, I mean, that's pretty bad. And then, check out our Patreon, and also, I was debating whether or not to call these videos Soy Factor, House of Soy, but I didn't want to do it to where people who just want to see Fear Factor, like, they can't find the video because it's not labeled Fear Factor. I was thinking maybe a compromise would be Fear Factor, House of Soy review, so that then you'd at least have the Fear Factor in there in the beginning. So, if you guys, whatever you guys want, whatever you guys think, because that's what this show is. It is the House of Soy. Do you agree with that, Safi?
I guess. I don't know about that terminology. There was another term there. I've never heard of this, but I understood what they were talking about. One of the guys...
This make sense. That's what I say about Fallout. Make this episode make sense.
No, this is not no.
Safi got really upset in that Fallout review.
No. At the beginning with this girl trying to team up with this guy, another guy went up to him when she wasn't around and said, you know, that girl's trying to honeypot you. I'm like, what the hell?
That's like Kash Patel's girlfriend.
But I know what it meant. I know what it meant, what they were implying. She was using her looks and everything and flirting with him to get him to be on her side and be with her in an alliance.
That's Kash Patel's girlfriend.
I've never heard of this honeypot reference.
That's Kash Patel's.
I knew what I understood what they were talking about.
That's Kash Patel's fake girlfriend.
Well, no comment.
She's
about
a honeypot.
all of those people. Well, anyway, because you know what I would think, and it's not good.
I think that they should have a Fear Factor season called Fear Factor Honeypot.
How about Fear Factor in the White House?
No, Fear Factor Japanese themed. Fear Factor Chinese themed. Do all the different Asian countries, make the people do karate and shit. Invite Daniel LaRusso on from The Karate Kid. That'd be actually really fun, like a Cobra Kai Fear Factor. That'd be really cool. I don't know. See, they need to get more creative.
Did they have celebrity?
No,
Fear Factors?
I don't think so. They could do that, but I think they need to get a lot more creative. Like, What if you did a challenge where it was like a Wednesday themed challenge and it was gross food and you had Wednesday actually there in costume and she's telling everyone what they have to do? That would be really fun.
Yeah.
Why don't they do stuff like that? They don't have to do that specifically, but just get creative with it, you know?
Yeah.
So please like and subscribe and comment. Yeah.
And we'll see you. Goodbye.
Bye.